the kids are literally, they're traveling by themselves down this road and they're unaccompanied. Apple recently released a long-awaited privacy feature allowing users to opt out of tracking for each app. Doing so will prevent user data from being used for ultra-targeted ads across the web. While this is a step in the right direction, this new feature won't completely protect you online. To do that, you need a VPN. This is why I highly recommend Virtual Shield. Right now, Virtual Shield is offering 50% off for life to my subscribers this month. I keep Virtual Shield turned on the entire time on my computer and never felt safer. It's the easiest and quickest way to make yourself anonymous online, and all it takes is a push of a button. Try Virtual Shield risk-free for 30 days with another 30-day money-back guarantee by visiting www.virtualshield.com/NatlyDenise. That's www.virtualshield.com/NatlyDenise and get 50% off for life by signing up this month. Muchachos y muchachas, I'm back. Hello, and I am back with more adventure storytelling, and in which this time I traveled to South Texas, the Rio Grande Valley area, in which, as you guys may know by now, Trump was visiting the border with Abbott because the Biden administration, up until he announced his visit, did not want to visit. Kamala ended up visiting the other side of Texas in El Paso, in which does not have the influx and the bad parts of migration, in which you're not going to catch a lot of action. Trump, on the other hand, visited the southern part of the border, which is where most of the influx of migration activity happens. And so, with that being said, we made our way down to South Texas. What up? So another day, another vlog. I am going to the Rio Grande Valley for the Trump visit to the wall with Abbott. And so I've got to leave in about 10 minutes. And yeah, I'm pretty much all packed. I got a new well, I've had this duffel for a long time, but I've never used it. But how cool is that? And then I got my same backpack. Still Avril Lavigne, you know, had to use some safety pins, but I love this backpack. I've grown to love it a lot. So I'm taking that. I should probably leave soon so that way I could go get me I need me an iced coffee with an espresso shot. Kind of wake me up a little bit because I woke up pretty early. Woke up like at 5:40. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up and leave. I gotta pack up my computer. I gotta upload a podcast before I leave and do anything. And yeah, anyway, I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. We get there, and of course, as always, if I am offered a trip to the border to see it, your girl will take it up. And so with that, I took up the second trip to the border to go see it. Of course, this was not the same part. The last time I was in Del Rio, Texas, this was South Texas, in which the border is much different. So this is where the crazy stuff happens. We get to the border, and in which we stay posted up at this, it's like a school playground or whatever. It's like right near there. And we're posted up. And of course, like, the weird thing about me is I get to these places and I always like come with no expectations. I'm like, we're not going to see anything. I don't think that we're going to have much action. I think that this is just going to be a slow, silent night. And I'm always proven wrong every single time. So we wait there, and it is pretty quiet for the first like 30 to 40 minutes. And then there's just activity going on all of a sudden. I look to my left and I see a group of people crossing the street. And I think, okay, weird. And then I see Border Patrol, which, by the way, they're always hovering around the area no matter what. Border Patrol just swoops in and begins their processing. So when I see the photojournalist and the new media starting to show up at this place, I'm like, okay, well, this is like an active scene, yeah? So then I go over to observe, what's going on.
All right, so again, we're at the border. I just talked to these two dudes who are independent photojournalists, and I was talking to that dude and was talking about how he had just started, and all of us, like, even just being thrown into this industry, how lucrative it is, because there's a lack of journalism right now. So it's pretty cool. They work with other journalists that I've either met or interviewed before, so that's pretty cool.
How long ago would you say?
Well, that recent before, they were like up in the 50s.
Wow.
One time was so big buses.
And all of a sudden, you just see nothing but really nice vans and Suburbans, SUVs, these eco cars, like, just pull up to the site. And it was just like, what is this? What's going on?
Holy shit.
So these people with really nicely dressed attire start pouring out of the vehicles. I mean, like, they look like they had just gotten back from dinner or something, and they were in their cute shoes, their cute dresses, their dress attire, whatever. And then I peer myself to the left, and randomly I spot Representative Madison Cawthorn just casually on the grass where they were processing the migrants.
And this is Anthony. Anthony and I did a podcast together. You guys might remember that.
And then I realized, oh my gosh, his team is here and there's probably more congressmen here. Lo and behold, I see at the distance, there's Lauren Boebert, other congressmen just pouring out of vehicles. And then, you see the other new media, Daily Caller's Jorge Ventura, he walks with them to the site. Anthony Cabezas, in which Cabezas, yeah. I actually did a podcast with him, a few months back. So, you just see all these faces. You're like, oh my gosh, what is happening right now? So after some first group processing, the representatives all head over to trek over to the border wall, which was right down the street. And so I went ahead with them to, kind of surveil the wall, the incomplete portion of the wall. And that's where, the representatives had their photo ops. They were doing interviews, all of which was a lot of activity.
For, obviously to not be out in the open, but then they'll grab their undergarments and then they'll hang them in the trees to kind of tell the other smugglers, like, hey, like, I'm proud that I was able to kind of get that badge of honor and join your ranks.
So as that was getting wrapped up, we went ahead and head back to the original site in which everybody met at. And on our way back, there was a group of kids walking. These were unaccompanied minors. We just saw them for ourselves. They were walking in pitch black. Had there not been car lights or anything, they would have been walking by themselves in the pitch black. So naturally, all of the new media, they started surrounding the kids and asking them, you know, who they were with, where are their parents, where do they come from, where are they fleeing from, you know, just really giving them, getting them to answer some basic questions about why the obvious thing is, why were they unaccompanied?
And they were sent back. She wants to work. Oh wow. She said that they locked her
Muchas
phone
gracias.
in the storm, and that she was looking to work here so she could have her own house.
Sorry guys, the lighting's gonna be really bad.
Any other questions, anyone? So it looks like he's the youngest. He's like 5 years old. Then we got a group of teenagers over there, Barrington, like 17. He's the youngest on the far right. He's 13 years old.
¿Cuántos años tiene el hijo?
They sign it?
Yeah, he's small.
Yeah.
6 años, muy bien.
And this is all night.
Philadelphia and California is where they seem to go.
And so Lauren Boebert actually, and another, I believe another representative, they both walked with the kids till the end of the road.
Kind of like abandoned their schools just to make this trek. So they said that as early as like a month, 2 months ago, they were in school, but they abandoned it to make this trek.
Okay, so obviously I'm still out here. Still a lot of activity going on. We still have elected officials out here, and there are families crossing like almost every second now. As you can see over there, there are migrants that are lined up. We've got kids down here that were found unaccompanied. These are unaccompanied minors that are coming, and they were walking in the pitch black on a dirt road. Should there have not been additional lights by vehicles, by the Border Patrol, they would have been walking in pitch black. Let me show you guys something. So we've got unaccompanied minors. This little boy right here, these babies right here.
Reuniting with his mom and his little brother. His little brother's 7 years old.
These babies right here, they were, they found each other. In other words, they came here by themselves. They were journeying, they were trekking by themselves, unaccompanied, no adults, anything whatsoever. They found other children, and therefore that's how they found each other. That's how they found their journey. They found other children. These are unaccompanied minors. A lot of activity happening right now. They're about to get processed at this very moment. As you can see behind me, there's a whole bunch of other migrants that haven't crossed. So it's a very, very active night tonight. Just over here, we're just seeing a bunch of families just cross. And they just come out of nowhere. I'm just gonna kind of walk down this road down here. There is the activity back there. But usually where they're coming down, I mean, they just come down of all the other paths. Now, you guys saw me. I was just at the border wall with all the hoopla, you know, the congressmen, the elected officials, the independent journalists. And right here, you can see where all the activity is happening. This family just crossed right here, over yonder, over there. Oh, you guys don't like it sideways, sorry. I'm gonna hold it like it diagonal at least. But they crossed from like all sort of directions. One family crossed from here. We found kids that were, I mean, look at this road over here. This is insanity. Look at this road. I'm gonna show you guys. This is the trek that these kids are taking all by themselves. Look how dark the roads are. Look how dark the roads are. Should there not have been additional street? No, actually, you can't even see. That's a car light right there. But as you can see beyond that, the street light is miles away. And the kids are literally, they're traveling by themselves down this road, and they're unaccompanied. All right, so I am here with Lauren Boebert. What are your thoughts and your sentiments coming out here and seeing it for yourself?
So this is my third trip down to the border, but I mean it's just harder and harder to see each and every time because this is preventable. We can put a stop to this. When the Biden administration and their policies encourage minors to come across the border and they say we're not going to send minors back, this is what we get. We have unaccompanied minors coming through. We saw a whole group of unaccompanied minors coming through, and an 8-year-old boy and a 7-year-old girl that were found alone and picked up, and it's absolutely devastating and heart-wrenching to see it. This is where Kamala Harris needed to be.
Absolutely.
This is where she needs to come and see the true devastation of their policies in action.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what are your sentiments now that you see the amount of children, and you have done this over and over again? What is the sort of sentiments as far as processing these children and getting them either they're human, so we don't want to see them hurt or put in the hands of wrong people. What are your sentiments about the process, the downstream process of this matter?
I'm certainly grateful for our Border Patrol agents and everything that they are doing, because they are out here each and every day, each and every night, making sure that these people are taken care of. And we're not going to leave people in the hands of the cartel. We're not going to just leave them on the side of the road. They're here to make sure that they get to these areas safely, and they are not going off into the bushes, where that's actually where we find missing children, because that's where bad people are. And so they need to be funded, they need the resources, they need infrastructure, and Biden needs to reverse the policies that he started on day one in his administration. He canceled construction of the border wall. He has ended the Remain in Mexico policy, and they've encouraged and incentivized this surge to happen at our southern border. This can be reversed, this can be stopped, but it takes the Biden administration to actually acknowledge that there's a humanitarian crisis taking place at the border, and something needs to be done about it.
And how about the intentional effect? It feels definitely intentional that this is happening.
So a lot of people say that this is like an invasion, but it really is more of a welcoming party. I feel like Americans are looking at the southern border and what's taking place, and they absolutely see a crisis. And it's not just a crisis in Texas or in Arizona or in California. It's nationwide, because this is, every state is a border state when our border is not secure. But I feel the Biden regime is saying mission accomplished. This is exactly what they wanted to do. This is exactly what they intended. They want to do everything the opposite of President Trump. But President Trump is proving that he still is leading on the issues. He announced that he was coming to the border this week, and we saw Kamala Harris pretend to go to the border just to virtue signal and say that she's pretending to do something. And but he's still leading on the issues because he cares about America. He cares about people, and that's what this is all about. And we need to have those policies put back in place.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for talking to me and my audience. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
As you can see, it was a very dire situation, and unfortunately that was just one night. So then, being late at night, we went ahead and called it and went back to rest. And then the next day came, and it was time for the Trump festivities. So it was pretty rainy that morning, but surprisingly, a lot of people showed up to the Trump train event, in which people, if you remember election time, you remember all these people with their Trump flags and cruising the freeways. And so it was just that all over again. So we cruised through the freeway with the Trump train, and then we end up being under this overpass where it was right near the hangar where the Sean Hannity Trump presser was to be held.
Waiting in line to get our tickets shown for the presser.
And then, to my dread, I got rejected. That was cue for me to go back to the hotel and decompress. I didn't get my ticket to get into the presser. Someone didn't end up showing up, so I thought that we could transfer tickets. And unfortunately, security was that tight where they were like, if your name is not on this list, you are not coming in. So I had to come back to the hotel. Woo, woo, woo. So then it was time to go home once again. Guys, thanks so much for tuning into my adventures. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting the channel. And if it's on your heart and you can, please do so at natlydenise.com/donate, or there are some easy links in the description below. You can even do something simple like buy me a coffee. Guys, thank you again for liking, sharing, subscribing, and telling somebody about this channel. I will catch you in the next video.
Goodbye.